Hey, everybody, and welcome to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. This is Katie Weaver, and I am here with my co host and partner in crime and sister, Christy Brower. Hello.
Hello. Hey, everybody. Excited for this update. We finally got some movement in the Vallow case. Daybell Vallow
Yeah,
case.
very interesting movement. Yeah, we sure did. There was a joinder this morning, or no, a hearing for the joinder this morning, and we're going to tell you guys all about it. So, how's it
Yeah.
going? Happy Thursday.
It's going well. Yes. Happy Thursday to you too. I'm going to try out this new relaxation spa here
Oh,
in Idaho Falls today. I get to go get a 2-hour trial for $20 to try out all their machines. So I'm doing that this afternoon.
nice.
I'm really excited
Well,
because sadly my
cool.
massage therapist has been exposed to COVID. So don't get to
Yeah.
see her.
Well, boo. But that's really
Yeah.
cool.
I know it's really a neat thing.
You know what I
I'm
really
thinking
want to
about
try?
signing up for it.
Is I
What?
really wanna try one of those, zero gravity tanks.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? There's
Uh-huh.
one in Jackson. I
The
really
flotation
wanna.
tanks. There's one
Yeah.
here.
Is there? I have no idea
Uh-huh.
why I wanna try that so bad. Or the, rooms that are all Himalayan salt.
Yeah.
I wanna try that too.
This place I'm going to does that salt therapy.
Do they really?
I don't
Okay.
think the room is Himalayan salt, but it's a salt that goes into the air. And so it's the same
Oh.
concept.
Uh-huh. Well, I can't wait to hear how it goes then.
I know. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, I hope that all of you are having a wonderful Thursday as well. It's like radio day for me. I had my one of my regular shows this morning over at 1-2 Radio, and now we're doing this update at 7 p.m. Pacific here on Mountain Time, right here on YouTube and Facebook. We'll be doing our psychic hour, and then at
Yeah.
8 p.m. I'm a guest on a good friend's show, 1-2 Radio. So yeah, it's
Wow.
just radio day.
You are all over the place.
Yeah. However, I also this morning made the t-shirts for our people who are the both of the ladies who won our drawing
Oh,
for
cool.
t-shirts. We did a 20,000 subscribers drawing or downloads
Mhm.
drawing. And so I
Yes.
was going to show you guys. I just finished their t-shirts. So this one, can you guys, I don't know what you
Ah,
can see because
cute.
it's in
Yep.
front of my face. That's
Yep.
good. Okay.
That's good.
So there's that one. And then this one.
Cute.
Aren't they
Yay.
cute? I'm so excited. So these will go out in the mail later today or tomorrow, probably more likely tomorrow, looking at my schedule today. But anyway, very excited. They're going out.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, very cool. But we want to tell you guys about what happened. So there was a hearing this morning
Yeah.
to discuss the joinder, and the joinder was there was a motion for a joinder by prosecutor Rob Wood,
Yeah.
who said that he felt like it would be in the best interest of this case to join them. So that was way back, that's been months ago.
Oh, yeah.
And I think first part of September that was proposed.
Yeah.
And Mark Means, Lori Vallow's attorney, said, fine, we think it's cool. Let's do it.
Mhm.
Well, of course, Chad Daybell's attorney, Mr. Pryor, said, no, that would be highly prejudicial to my client's case. That was his initial assessment.
Yes.
So we've been waiting for this to hit the judge to decide, are we doing this? Are we not doing this?
Right.
So that happened this morning. Judge Boyce, right?
Yep, Judge Boyce.
Judge Boyce heard their arguments. And so Rob Wood presented first and basically said he feels like, first of all, to be cost effective for the state for a lot of reasons. First of all, because they have to bring in witnesses from Hawaii, Louisiana, Arizona, Utah, Idaho, from all over, and
Yeah.
possibly other places that have to do that twice is an enormous expense for the state.
Right.
Just holding both of these trials will be an enormous expense. And that because essentially the evidence is the same in both and the charges are the same, it
Yeah, they're
makes
charged with
no
conspiracy
sense.
to commit the same crime. It's the
Mhm.
exact same case.
Yeah. So that was his basic premise that it just doesn't make sense. His other point was that he feels like this case has received so much publicity and is expected to receive so much more publicity
Yeah.
that by the time one of these cases is tried, how in the world will they find a jury pool for the a second case?
Right. When all of the evidence is out there in the world.
Uh-huh. And so he felt like basically in order to provide, the fairest and best prosecution and defense for both of those that are charged, that it
Yeah.
makes more sense to combine the cases. So, Christy, I'm going to throw up a picture here and let you discuss what Mr. Pryor, what his argument was.
Well, if you could call it that.
He didn't have one. The end.
Yeah, pretty much. That's it. Here is a picture of Chad and Mr. Pryor. They are wearing matching outfits yet again. Isn't that
Yep.
funny? Why do they keep doing that? That's just weird. But also,
Mm-hmm.
you can see, and I'm going to do it for you because I do a good impression of resting toad face, but this is what Chad looked like through the entire hearing, and it's this. The
Yep.
dude has one facial expression. It's resting toad face. He just does this the whole
I
time.
saw a comment on a news site. Someone asked, "Has Chad lost his teeth?"
He does sort of look like that, somebody that doesn't have their dentures in. No,
Yeah.
he has his teeth. That's just his resting face, resting
Mhm.
toad face.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
first of all, Mr. Pryor made a point of digging Prosecutor Wood, as he always does.
Yeah.
He's got to bring up something that has zero to do with this particular hearing.
Mhm.
They're struggling with some of the discovery, some of the evidence, and they're working on it together, and they might have to come to you, Judge. And he brought that up 3 times. He made a
Yeah.
point of saying, "Now, Mr. Wood, I don't want you to feel like I'm making a big deal about this, but so it was all just
Yeah.
about digging wood, which was
Mhm.
stupid. And then
Yeah.
all he said was, this could be prejudicial to my client. He didn't give a single reason why it could be prejudicial to his client. He didn't give a bit of evidence.
No.
All he did
Nothing.
was bring a case that was supposedly precedent as to why this was not a good idea. And I have been saying all along, I'm very confused by this
Yeah.
because this case doesn't have anything to do with the Daybell case. It's not the same at all. It
No.
was a criminal case in which two separate crimes that committed by the same person were joined together, and he was tried for both of them in the same trial.
Right.
That was later overturned and found to be prejudicial because basically if they found him guilty of the one, then they would likely just find him guilty of the other one, and that was true. But
Mhm.
that was his precedent for joining these 2 trials of 2 individual people who are charged with conspiracy to commit the same crime. And the
Yeah.
judge said, I don't see any connection
Yeah.
at all
Yeah.
to that
I
case
loved it.
and
The
this
judge
case.
stopped him and was
Yeah.
like, "Now, I'm not feeling it." And
Yeah.
of course,
This doesn't.
Rob Wood had already said the same thing.
Yeah,
This
it
precedent doesn't mean anything. And Rob Wood
doesn't.
actually had some other cases from Idaho that he had quoted in which a joinder had happened under similar circumstances,
Yeah. Well, and when they
really
talked about
proving, yeah,
what?
that really proving that this is not, it's not outrageous what he's asking, and
No.
that particularly in the cases of conspiracy to commit, a joinder is something that's really common.
Yeah, very common, very common. And there's the rule basically to join a case, this case fits it exactly.
Mhm.
And Pryor himself said, I will admit that this case actually does fit that exactly, but Your Honor, it's unfair. It's
Mhm.
just unfair. But
He
he
kind of
had
alluded as
nothing.
well to the idea that maybe Mr. Woods just doesn't really wanna do his job.
Yes, that
He
was it. Maybe he doesn't want to have to try this case twice.
Mhm. So Mr.
Yeah,
Wood
yeah, it
is
was
this
implying that.
big, lazy jerk who
Yep.
wants to be unfair to my client. Yeah.
Well, and Wood had a very well written, you know, layout of the entire thing, and then
Oh,
Pryor
yeah.
was like, "It'll just be prejudicial," and whine, 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 we're getting picked on. That's all it
Mhm.
was. Like he didn't even
Totally.
bother to try to say it could be prejudicial because what if she's guilty and my client isn't, or whatever.
Mhm.
Like there could have been some examples given, but
Mhm.
he didn't give any.
He didn't give him anything.
So
No.
he didn't anything about what their defense is gonna be, and that's what I was wondering, is he gonna give anything away here? The other thing that he did that made no sense, and the judge was just like, "What?" He said, Judge, what you could do is just withhold judgment at this time, and later on,
Mhm.
we'll have a hearing to talk about severing the trials."
Yeah.
And the judge was like, "Well, we wouldn't have a hearing about severing the trials unless I had already joined them. Doesn't make any
Right.
sense." And Pryor just repeated the same thing over again to the judge, and the judge goes, "Okay, thank you, Mr. Pryor." Like,
Yeah.
whatever, tell me.
Whatever.
You just
Now the
said the
judge
same
did
thing
say,
twice, it makes no sense.
yeah, and in the judge's ruling, he did say, if the time comes where it becomes evident that the cases should not be, that there should be a severance, we will revisit this, you know?
Right.
I mean, if
Yeah.
there's any actual reason that comes to light, we'll rediscover, we'll revisit it, but, Pryor brought nothing to the table today, nothing at
Yeah,
all.
nothing at all. And yeah, it's entirely true that if there's actual reasoning, but
Mhm.
Pryor didn't bring any today. There was no reasoning at all.
And
The
he
thing
could
is,
have.
he knows this case fits the qualifications for a joinder.
Right. He could have. He
Yeah,
could have brought he could have showed up to the table and said, because of the, way that my client is planning on pleading, because of the defense that we are putting together, a joinder would be prejudicial. I mean, he could have brought some information to the table that gave the judge pause, but he didn't.
no,
So that's what happened. It was pretty anticlimactic, except for that, boom, at the end of the day, the judge said the joinder is approved. It
yep,
makes all the sense in the world to me.
yeah,
He talked a lot about the press that this case has received and the jury pool situation, and that all makes sense. He and also the prosecutor talked about the fact that to put the victims' families through this more
yeah,
than once seems like there's just not a reason to do that, and that
right,
it makes more sense to let it be, and get through it once. So yeah, yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
well, and the other thing the judge said is, the other thing that we struggle with right now is because of the coronavirus, just getting a jury to begin with is a challenge, and being able to do a
right.
jury trial is a challenge, and then to have to do two is
Mhm.
even more of a challenge. And so there are so many reasons why to join this case. And if you can't give a single reason why not, other than whine, we're getting picked on, then what, I mean,
Yeah.
Pryor brought nothing.
Yeah, it was quick. The whole thing was done in less than an hour.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it was done in about a half an hour. It was
Yeah.
very quick. There, and the judge obviously was. He said, this was proposed months ago. I have already, been over this case, and and then I'm definitely ready to rule. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
he probably walked in there pretty sure that this was the way he was going, unless Pryor, because the only thing Pryor filed was a brief stating that one case in Idaho that wasn't applicable.
Yeah.
That's really all he brought to the fight. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
He really
Marie in
didn't
the
fight
chat
hard.
calls Pryor Mr. Crier. Yeah.
Mr. Cryer. Yeah, he is. He's a
Yes, he
real.
is.
The other thing he is he's really fake. Oh, thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate you. Why don't I lick
Uh-huh.
your boots, Your Honor? He's very unlike Means, who's rude to the judge and who
Yeah.
doesn't want to stand and stuff. Pryor is like over the top. Um,
Gross the other way.
yeah,
Well, and constantly taking shots at the prosecutor and then saying, "Now, I don't mean to. Now, with all due respect, now," and you're like, "Yeah, whatever, bro. I mean, I know it's your job. I get it, but man,
but
you're
yeah,
smarmy."
he's
Ugh.
so transparent. Like it's so obviously fake. And and like to bring up whatever the evidentiary stuff is, because we know, because we've talked about it, that Means is having evidentiary issues also with the prosecutor, because they're both asking
Mhm,
for stuff that the prosecutor is not going to do because he doesn't
mhm.
have to. Um, they want to focus on that. We're getting picked on,
Yeah.
but that's
But
all
you
they've got.
consider the amount of data and info that's coming their way from the prosecutor. Thinking about the pretrial Chad's preliminary and the conversations with the FBI analysts that
Oh
were
yeah,
analyzing the cell phone pings
yeah,
and how detailed that is, how much documentation that is. You send that the way of Prior and Means, and they've probably got thousands and thousands and thousands of pages of stuff they have no idea what to do with.
yeah.
So
Well,
I'm sure they're
because
feeling overwhelmed.
they don't seem to have any assistance here. There's no paralegals. There doesn't no one comes to court with them.
Right. They
And
seem to
I'm
be
I'm just blown
one
away
man
by
band.
that. Like they're trying to wade through all this on their own?
I don't know.
I
That's
don't
why
know.
these big cases cost so much money because it takes a lot of help and it takes, you know, experts in lots of different things. And anyway, it's interesting. But yeah, he was definitely trying to throw a few extra things in there for the judge to consider. That I think the judge was just like, we're here for the joinder, so let's do that.
Yeah, all of his whining did not appear to me to have any impact on the judge at all,
No,
other than
definitely
just
not.
to make him
Now,
look.
one interesting thing that will happen now, though, is that now there will be a new date assigned because they
Yeah,
each had a court date. So now we'll see a new date assigned. Maybe it will be one or the other of them. Maybe it'll be neither.
I hope it's the
And
January date. I really
right.
do.
And judge. One of the arguments that I thought was really interesting was that this court or this case is being heard by two different judges.
Right.
And consider that one judge allows a piece of evidence that the other judge throws out. It opens the door for a mistrial in a
Yeah.
way that it's just, it is avoidable by the joinder. There were several points like that I thought were really interesting.
Yeah, there
So
needs to be one
anyway, now
judge.
that there will be one judge. So we don't know if it'll be Boyce or if it will be the other judge, but at any rate, so there will be a new court date and a new judge assigned here, or, you know, something along those lines. So that's going to get interesting too. And of course, they will
Yeah.
be back in court at the end of November on on Crier's. I'm going to go ahead and use that, Marie. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
On the motion to dismiss,
Mhm. To
so
just
that'll be
dismiss
fun
it
to
all.
hear. Yep. I'm guessing, that the arguments will be interesting. They'll be similar to what we heard today. So he
Yeah,
is,
I can't wait to hear if Pryor's gonna do anything more than, They're just picking on my client, Your Honor." I mean, is he gonna really have anything?
Your Honor, they have no proof. No proof.
Only this 20,000 pages I've been working on for the Can you imagine the
And
transcript
the
of
2
just
bodies
the
on my
preliminary
property.
hearing?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
he's
that's
got
gonna
no
be interesting, and that's about 4 weeks away. That'll be the next movement we see, unless, Means gets his Twitter thumbs warmed up or something else happens. It'll
Yeah,
be interesting to
if
see.
he does, we will let you know.
Definitely. So that's it for this one, but we'll be back tonight at 7 p.m. for the Psychic Hour, and until then, you guys be safe